Hey, what's up, guys? How are you? How is everybody doing? I hope you're all doing well. So I think I'm still having issues with the connection, but I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys and see how you're doing, see how everyone's getting along in this new phase that we're in. Basically, with the discussion, the Gillibrand Amendment has passed. It's included in the NDAA, and it's been a lot of changes since 2017. A lot of movement in the right direction, I would say, but it's still not the end. We're not at the end of the road yet. Let me know how the audio sounds. Let me know how the picture's coming through. I went live right now. I wasn't planning on going live, but I noticed that for some reason earlier in the day, my connection works a little bit better. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up switching my provider because it looked like it was going to work fine. And then I jumped on now, and for some reason, it's still kind of glitching up, which is unfortunate. But really the important part of all this, of me coming on here and doing this live, is getting to talk to you guys. I really enjoy these lives and seeing you guys in the live chat. So thank you guys, Barry, for being here. Dope Nose for being here. UFO Storian. It's awesome to see you guys in the live chat always. And today's topic, expanding your views on life and UFOs. I think it's maybe something that isn't discussed often in this community. We do talk about how grand the truth tied to this phenomenon could be, and life-changing and earth-shattering, kind of changing the paradigm we live in today. That is talked about. If the image glitches up too much, I'll just take it off and we'll just do audio, because I think you guys would prefer at least to not look at me glitched on a screen. But let's continue. So I've been thinking about this a lot because I interact with a lot of people in the community. I talk to a lot of people. I look at your tweets. I see what's going on. I pay attention to people, at least in the UFO Twitter community, on Reddit as well. And I pay attention to the world around me. I'm one of those people that walks into a room and scans the whole room and really notices everybody in the room. I also think that understanding what somebody believes, what their morals are, how they see the world, can let you understand like how limited they are for change. Human beings throughout history, in my opinion, have gone through many changes. Sometimes for the worse, sometimes for better. The UFO topic, I still believe, will bring on many changes. I don't think we're there yet. I mean, the discussion that we're having, at least in the mainstream media, that's being had in the mainstream media, not the discussion we're having here, but the discussion that's being had in the mainstream media is very focused on the craft. You know what? I don't know what just happened, but I think you guys saw that. So yeah, so everything's kind of wonky here with my setup, and it's been that way for some time. You guys have probably tuned into some of the last lives. You know what? Let me take off the screen because I don't know what's going on. Give me a second. Let me take off the screen and we'll continue. Or take off the video, basically. Let me stop the cam. All right. Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. Again, I'm sorry that there's all these issues, but they're all things that I'm trying to fix. And I feel like I'm letting you guys down in a way. There was a few months there that everything was moving smoothly. Everything was going great. I was constantly researching, constantly digging. I'm still constantly researching and digging, but for some reason, we've had this issue where the lives keep freezing up. We've had the issue. I've had a bit of an issue with the current state of the conversation. Yeah, I see Barry says that I'm gone. Yeah. Let me try and fix that real quick, guys. Give me 1 second. All right. I'll keep talking. You might hear me moving around. Give me a second. I think the issue might be that for some reason, what is running the cam is not working correctly. There's like an extension cable that runs to the cam so I can kind of see, or so I can run the camera 24/7. It's not running correctly. Give me a second. Talk to people in the live chat. Say hey to everybody. Let me try and switch this out. I think I know what the issue is. Oh, this thing's hot. These kinds of things really are a drag, but that's why I appreciate so much when I see people doing lives and doing these things. It really isn't as simple as so many people think it is. Let's see, did that work? That did not work. This. All right, I'm coming back. There we go. Let me know how that looks. I am back. It's probably going to start lagging up again in a second, though. The issue is when the video comes on, it starts to lag up. Hey, Andy, how are you? As always, most of the time that I do these things and almost everything on my channel, I piece things together. I get what I can. The currency in Argentina is not the best, if you guys ever looked into that. So I can't get some of the best equipment that other creators might be able to get outside of Argentina and other parts of the world for the prices they get it at. So I'm normally piecing stuff together with duct tape and trying to make it work and trying to give you guys the best quality that I can. But I see Alien Girl's here. What's up, Alien Girl? How are you? So I see it's still kind of lagging, but let's continue the discussion. So expanding your views on life and UFOs. And kind of getting into what I was talking about earlier, the discussion where it's at today, at least in our community. I am all for what's happened, the changes that have happened, this focus on getting, Congress informed in the U.S., getting the Pentagon kind of locked down and having to report to Congress and all the things that are going on. But I do believe that this is a global phenomenon. I do believe that what should happen with this phenomenon, personally, this is what I believe. We all can have our own beliefs, but I'm saying this is kind of what I think about it. I thought this topic would come into the realm of reality. UFOs would become a reality and people would start to change. The world around us would begin to change. Sort of the structure that it's built on would start to shift a little bit. Now, I don't see that happening in the way that we're going because, I think that we're still going to follow kind of the same format that we've always had. Like knowing that we're not alone is not going to change too much, I guess, because we've really never been alone. So I've had this internal struggle. I've been, between a rock and a hard place. I guess that's how you say it, right? That's a saying. When it comes to the involvement of the governments in this discussion and how much control they end up getting really in the discussion. I still think it's important because I understand how the world works. I understand that people listen to politicians. I understand that people listen to academics. I understand everything that's going on right now. So I may need to change the way I see the world, right? Because personally, I don't listen to politicians. I don't care enough about politics. I'm not saying that I'm going to care anymore tomorrow, but that's kind of it made me like just let it roll, like roll with the punches, you know? I'm all for what's going on. I don't think that the government always has the people's best interest at heart. I think that there's a lot of money there we could talk about. I think war is a huge issue. I think that a lot of the times, even in life, in any kind of situation, you know, we see ourselves as the good guys always. We don't see ourselves as the bad guys. But it depends on where you're standing and, you know, what end of the barrel you're on. I always use that example because it's like, I don't know. It's weird because I try to express myself about this without offending people because I don't want to offend anyone. And like I said, I understand how the world works. I'm not the norm, I guess you would say. I'm not the everyday normal average person. I don't like turn on the television and listen to what my politician's saying. I could care less, you know, but I know that 90% of the world does. I could truly care less. And if anyone out there that ever watches this knows me, they'll know that I'm not lying about that. So looks like there is now, apart from the issues with the live stream quality, there's now issues with the camera. So I'm going to shut that off for now and continue the conversation. Let me check out the live chat, see what you guys are saying. I keep getting distracted by all these issues, and I'm sorry. You know, I always try to bring you guys the best quality, and it seems like it's just getting more and more complicated for me. But I will get everything fixed this new year. We'll have something good going on. UFO historian says, I'm so happy with a small chat room and not 500 people. You know, I am happy that there are more people joining this conversation. I am definitely an advocate for letting more people into this conversation and not being so harsh on people, letting them share their thoughts and their ideas and letting them grow in their search for the truth. But I know what you mean, you know, and sooner or later, as this topic becomes more and more mainstream, some of us are going to get shut out. We're going to get, you know, we're going to become voices in the crowd. Barry Roscoe says, raise your vibes. Tim F, what's up, man? He says, hail. So it looks like I'm going to have to change my internet provider and figure out now what's going on with the camera. So something's going on with the camera now. But let's continue this conversation, or kind of like what I was trying to say. So I've been stuck in this position where I want to push for this. I want, you know, Congress to keep an eye on the Pentagon. I want these things to happen. I want this all to happen. But I also get kind of overwhelmed when all I see is the same conversation over and over and over and over again, right? We're all kind of saying the same thing, especially the voices that are out here like myself, you know, kind of echoing and yelling on top of a soapbox or an apple box. We're all saying the same thing. And as soon as we don't agree on something, it's like you get shunned away a bit by the community. And I think it's very healthy to not all agree. You know, we shouldn't all agree, because then we're just like, none of us are really thinking for ourselves if we agree on every single aspect of everything. So I don't want people to get the wrong impression that I don't support this. I was supporting this all the way through to the last minute, you know, but I do think that personal experiences and the everyday average person is so important, is so much more important than anything, you know, because behind the politician is a person. It's just a person. Behind that, you know, trained observer is just a person. All of your experiences matter. Everyone's ideas on this kind of topic matters, because first of all, there are no rules when it comes to this topic. There is no way to do it. And that's what I think is so fascinating and funny, is that we try to put this topic into a box. We try to talk about how we have to talk about it, how we have to express ourselves about it, what direction we can take it in. You know, how do we lose credibility? First of all, the credibility thing. I think if you walk into any room, it doesn't matter what you're wearing, who you are, as long as you hold yourself with credibility and you talk like you mean it, and you're open to making mistakes, to being wrong, to maybe being right sometimes, and you're not just if you keep it real, basically is what I'm trying to say. If you keep it real, you don't have to worry about losing credibility. Like, I don't get up thinking about losing credibility. I know who I am. I know what I believe, and I know that I can be wrong and I can be right. But what really inspired this topic is looking into the community, seeing people talk about UFOs and be so interested in UFOs, but then seeing some of their other worldviews and their views on life, and seeing that some of their other views are limited. Like, one thing I learned from looking into UFOs and the phenomenon and just life in general is you're not always right. You know, so don't put your beliefs are beliefs, but you're still a person behind all that. You know, you still have to trust you have to trust your heart a little bit in life. Let me give you guys an example, right? This is an easy one, but I've been trying to figure out how to do like C5 if it's possible. It's more of like an experiment, right? I've been trying to do it for some time because I have friends that have said that they've experienced things. They've seen orbs and different things. And I don't want to, I don't not believe them. I just think, well, if that's happening, let me see how I can do it. Can I do that? Like, can I experience that? Because I want to. I'm not just reading books about UFOs and looking into pictures about UFOs and doing all this so that I can just keep looking at books and pictures. You know, I really do want to see the phenomenon. I want to experience the phenomenon, be it darkness or light, whatever it is, because that just means there's more out there. It's like being afraid to swim too deep when you know that there's amazing, beautiful creatures at the bottom of the ocean. Doesn't mean there's not sharks. Sorry. Let me check out the live chat. Thank you guys for being here. I'm sorry that the camera's not working correctly. I don't know what's going on. It's just left and right, man. Maybe it's the phenomenon. The phenomenon called my internet provider and this faulty cable that keeps shutting down the camera. It is kind of frustrating though, but whatever. Let me check out the live chat. Let me see what you guys are saying. I didn't expect everybody to be here. I've been kind of gone. You know, I've been trying to fix this internet thing. So thank you guys for being here. Ethereal Aura, what's up, man? So expanding your views on life and UFOs, I feel like the UFO topic should expand your views. It should make you more open-minded. You can't be closed-minded and look into UFOs. Like, you should look at the world around you and think, wow, there's so much more to the world. There's so much more to reality than this. So then little petty things that people argue about, you should look at them like, oh, it's petty. You know, it's like, do what you want with your body. You know, love who you want to love. Live how you want to live. As long as you're not hurting me or my family, like, everything's fine. And I don't see that change coming. I see it being more and more like cataloged into the same old stuff that we always see. I see, like, let's be honest, this push that we're getting right now with the conversation, with the Gillibrand Amendment and the NDA, all that, it's great. But we can't forget that, like, this whole issue, really, the secrecy behind this was started from that area as well. You know, you can try to fix the future, you know, you can try to fix tomorrow, but you can't fix the past. What's done is done. And really the big confusion with this is, like, how do they tell us what it is if they don't know what it is? That's kind of some of the arguments that I've heard. Like maybe they do have somebody shared on Twitter today a video of Lou Elizondo talking about, what if the government did recover bodies, but they didn't know what their motives were, what they wanted. There's still a big part there that's like, well, maybe the world should have known at that time that they did recover bodies and that this was a real phenomenon, that the government didn't know what it was and they needed more answers so that the academic community could have jumped on this years and years ago, and so that the world could have been aware of this issue years and years ago, because it is kind of an issue because we have no idea really what's going on. So it is a little frustrating because it's like I'm from the old school era as well. Some of you in the live chat might be where like you did not trust the government because they did cover things up, but not everybody, now that I'm older, I'm like, well, not everybody in the government's bad. It's not all bad. I don't know. I just think that if you're going to look into UFOs, the real reason for this conversation is like, you got to be really open-minded on how you view the world. If not, you're not going to see the whole picture of this topic, of anything, of life. Don't fight over the petty things. Expand what you believe. Don't look into UFOs and then continue to believe what you believed yesterday. Especially in a time where UFOs are real. It means so much. Just UFOs being real means so much about the possibilities of what really could be real. So yeah. I see Ethereal Auras here. What's up, my brother? Thank you for being here. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me try and fix this again. Even though if I fix the camera, I think it's going to freeze up again. I'm getting this lag issue in this house. I think if anyone knows anything about connections, like what kind of cable I'm supposed to run from the main, the main line into the router, let me know, because I've dealt with so much trying to get this fixed. I thought it was malware. I got the router changed. I've, changed all the cables. I took the computer to a technician to see what it could be. And it's really just probably the company. So I'm going to have to change the company. Let me know how you guys are doing in the live chat. Let me know how everything's going. I really I'm happy that we've gotten this far in this discussion and that things are changing. But I hope that people really, start to see reality differently. I think we're still very early in the conversation to see the whole world wake up and to see a huge change. But I'm worried that we're going to package it in a way that's going to end up just putting us all into the same, the same predicament we've always been in when it comes to society. I made a video a while ago, a long time ago, talking about let's be realistic here and think about the government looking into UFOs and how long they've been looking into UFOs, and to think that if a crash ever did occur, we have to consider the possibility that they have crashed vehicles. Maybe they don't know how they work, but the day they figure out how to work those craft, they're going to definitely turn it into a weapon. This whole secrecy issue is because one country doesn't want the other country to figure out how it works first, or to get that and turn it into a weapon. But whoever gets it first is going to turn it into a weapon. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. Hey, Roger. How are you, man? And that's kind of what worries me. I don't know what I thought, when I started really focusing so hard on disclosure, like how we could pull this out of the hands of the wrong people. But I don't see that really happening. I see with transparency, we run the higher risk as well, which transparency is good. We run the higher risk of the wrong people getting their hands on this. When I say the wrong people, I don't mean Russia or China or anything like that. I mean anybody. Um, anybody, honestly. The other day I put a tweet out that said, if you, let's say you found a craft that was working and functioning. I said, let's say Abuelita died and she left you her house, and you go to the garage, and in the garage under a tarp, there's a functioning craft and a journal on how to use it. I gave the community 3 options. The first option was give it to the government. The second option was give it to private industry. I couldn't fit in there like scientific and academic community, but private industry, because it's kind of, in a way, aligns on the same thing. And the last thing was, use it and save the world. Don't give it to anybody and save the world. Kind of keep it till you can figure it out. And I started thinking about it, like, how complicated would it be if you found a craft that worked and you had somehow figured out how to make it work and use it? I would have so many internal issues with it, because I'd be like, I can't give this to the government, any government, because they could turn it into a weapon, like I said a second ago. And I can't give this to private industry because the same thing could happen. But I want to use the technology to help people. I want the world to have free energy. I want somebody to tell me how this works. So after thinking about it for a while, I said, yeah, I'd try to save the world. I'd use the craft to zip around, and if I could, deliver food, deliver large amounts of food, to people starving, or pull somebody from somewhere and take them somewhere safe. Or I think the possibilities could be endless depending on what the craft could do. Maybe show it to people. Maybe bring on disclosure myself, but show it to people in a way that they would think that I am the phenomenon. Maybe that's what the TikTok is. Just put it somewhere, just fly it right over somewhere real slow, big populated area. Stop. Hopefully it has like a loudspeaker and I can speak out of it. There's just so many possibilities. But the one thing I would do right away is like not give it to private industry or the government. I just couldn't. I wouldn't feel like I could do that. Just look at all the mistakes that have been made in the past. Look at all the people that have died. Look at all the wars. There's lots of positive things too. I'm a very look at both sides kind of guy, but do we really need more powerful weapons? Like, how powerful can a weapon get? That's my fear. Let me check out the live chat. Andy says UAP, UFO, paranormal, cryptid, supernatural is becoming the new frontier in science. It is, because, today's magic is tomorrow's science. Straight up. That's what it is. It's always been that way. UFO Story says going for a ride. Go to Pluto. Yeah, I mean, there's so much you could do if you had a craft. But what would you hand it over to the government? That's my question. I feel like some people would. I got one vote for sure that says they would hand it over to the government. I would never do that. Like, I couldn't. Even though I'm telling you, I don't think everyone's bad in the government. I don't think the government is, all rotten or whatever. I just think that they've made some bad decisions. Human beings make bad decisions. Do I deserve to have full control over it? No, I don't either. But I'd have to think of a way to really get it out to the right people. Like, maybe go abduct Avi Loeb, show him the craft and say, hey, you can check this out to see how it works, but don't tell anybody about this. Get a small group of scientists and academics like to look at it, but like without telling anybody about it at first until we could figure it out. And that could be what's going on with, it's so funny when you start to think about these things and you have these kinds of little thought experiments, you start to think about everything, because it's like, I see the argument coming from the government retrieving crashed crafts the same way. And maybe because they can't figure out how it works, they don't want to just tell anybody about it. Even though I think They lean more on the side of like, I don't want anybody else to get this tech and to figure out how it works. That's not my thing. I would want free energy. Let's figure out how we can incorporate this into everyday life, whatever is powering this, however this is working, how we can use this to really save the world. And apart from that, I'd be like an Avenger with a UFO, straight up. There's no stopping me there. If I had the power to really help people like that at such a quick rate and, you know, get from one part of the planet to the other super fast, who knows what I could do. And we do kind of have these. And as soon as I said that, I was like, the internet, right? Like this live right now. You guys are watching me. I'm going from one part of the planet and you guys are hearing everything I'm having to say. And it's like transmitting out to the rest of the world. There's so many things that we confuse with science fiction, or we think are science fiction, that if you just look at the world a little bit differently, you start to see like we do have a lot of what we grew up on already existing around us. But so back to the topic again. I'm going to keep straying off, but expanding your views on life, man. UFOs are not a religion. Believing in UFOs is not like going to make you, I don't think it could make you do anything really negative. There is negative aspects of believing in things that aren't real, but the UFO topic is real. So use it as a tool for when you look at the rest of the world to think there is more out there. So maybe me arguing over politics, or me arguing over what somebody believes in, you know, their religious views, or, you know, who cares? There's so much more to this. There's so much more to this than that. UFO historian said that he would come back as Santa with element 115 for the world. Pro Illusionist, what's up, man? How are you? Give me a second, guys. Let me try and do something. I'm gonna try and fix this camera again. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to fix that. But you know, the real thing was, the real reason why I wanted to jump on here is I felt like I was letting you guys down, and I still look, everything's not working correctly. So I plan on fixing everything. Maybe once the new year is done, 2022, we kick this off, all corrected. I can get back into the discussion and really bring some more value. Keep talking to you guys. You know, this conversation is really important to me, and you guys are really important to me. Like, honestly, the conversations you guys have in the live chat and seeing you guys there and you sharing your thoughts and you sharing your opinions, it does really matter to me. I don't feel like I have the answers tied to the phenomenon. I don't feel like I have the answers tied to life. I think that I'm learning like everyone else. You know, this is a learning game. I can just share what I think, and you can share what you think, and we can all kind of grow from it and learn from it. But use UFOs, use this topic as something to really break down the barriers that you have. Society puts a lot of barriers around you in the way you see the world and the way you think. You know, if we're not alone and there is another intelligent species out there, I think we really need to start looking at everybody as our brothers and sisters, honestly. That should be the way we already look at people. That's the way I look at people. I see humans as all one thing. You know, I understand that you might be born in one country with different customs or different beliefs, but you're still behind all that. You're still a human. And you peel that all back, you're just like me. Under that flesh is still bones. It's still the same, you know. But you see so much hate happening and people judging people for what they believe and all these things. It's like, I don't think you really can look into UFOs if you don't look at the world with an open mind. Like you can, but you're not going to get too far. It's kind of crazy to think about. It's trippy because it's like I'll see certain people, certain accounts. I'm not going to name any names, right? But people that maybe have really strong views on like political views, or really strong views on what people do with their bodies, or really strong view on immigration and all these things. And I'm like, dude, how can you not accept somebody coming into your country from another country, and you think you can accept making contact with an otherworldly phenomenon, basically? Like, how can you expect to understand the phenomenon if you can't even understand yourself or your brothers and sisters around you? Like, it's just one of the biggest barriers, I think, that some people have to break down. Look, like I said too, I'm not perfect. I have so many flaws, so many demons, so many things that, you know, they mess up my judgment. I'm not always right, but I know that. Like, I know that I have those things. I know there are things that I need to change, and I'm willing to change them. And I'm not afraid to tell people that I was wrong. I'm not afraid to tell people that I made the wrong decision, or I said the wrong thing, or I acted the wrong way. I still feel like I'm the same person the next day. You know, I feel like mistakes just help you learn, if anything. The other day I was driving, and this idea has been coming in and out of my mind for a long time, because you see lots of people talking about spiritualism, and then they talk about, you know, then you see like their worldviews kind of leak out of them. And you're like, I thought you were like Zen and one love and all this thing. Or you're like woke or aware or awake, and they're just as blind as anyone else. And I start to wonder, you know, when I have been trying to get more like Zen'd out, I guess you say, more in touch with my spiritual side, but not in a religious way or anything like that, you know, just in general. And I notice there's a lot of people saying like, I am one, or I am, it's a lot of I, instead of saying like, you know, it's never we. It's never like for all of us. It's always about working on yourself. And I feel like we need to work on everybody. We need to work on everything. We can't just work on ourselves. Like, we can learn ourselves. We can really get in tune with ourselves to then help other people. But I feel like in order to get in tune with yourself, you need to also understand everything around you and understand the people around you. It can't just be about you. So yeah, this could get deep and philosophical. But the other day I was driving, and this happens all the time. In Argentina, there's these cars that put like stickers in the back of their, or everyone does that around the world. People put stickers in the, you know, on their cars. But there's this one sticker that is like, I think it's like Mary with a rosary. So it's like a religious sticker, right? And I don't know what it is, but these people drive the worst. Anyone that has that sticker, not everybody, you know, I'm sure I'm not going to put everybody into a, you know, into the same group, but it happens so often that like somebody cuts me off, or they honk, or they're rude, or, and then they drive by and I see that sticker. And I've seen that sticker so many times that, to the point where I'm like bringing this up, right? How could you have a sticker like that on your car and be like so violent or so rude or so, it's like, did you not learn anything? from what you've been practicing. It's crazy because it happens and I'll see the sticker and I'm like, dude, and again with the sticker. And I went to Catholic school, I grew up Catholic. So I experienced it a lot where people were like, it was like some people were like okay with doing the wrong thing because they thought they could go to church and like be absolved of their sins. And I was like, it just makes it worse. Like you just think that you can do whatever you want because like, I don't know, you have God on your side or whatever. And it happens with all religions around the world. It happens with people's beliefs. People believe things and they think they're doing the right thing, or they think that the way they live is the correct way. And I don't know if that's right. And I think that learning about UFOs and high strangeness and that there's more out there and that there's so many possibilities to what could be correct or what could be actually going on should let you kind of sit back and look at everything like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not doing any of this right. Maybe I'm looking at the world in the wrong way. Our relationship with nature and animals, like it's horrible. It's terrible. Everyone knows it's terrible. Like it's really sorry, it's really kind of sad the way we treat the world. It's not really, it is. It's sad. So use this topic, not just to like learn that there's craft in the sky, not just to like, I don't know. I think that would be like the best example, not just to learn that there's craft in the sky and there's alien beings, but like think that there's so much more out there and use it to like grow and evolve a little bit. And also understand that if you're not like an open-minded person, you're not open to the possibilities. You might not see the true meaning of this, of what is going on. You might not see the reality around you. It's kind of like walking around with blinders on. So that's really what I wanted to touch on with all the thousands of distractions I'm having every time I try to go live. This is kind of why I've been not going live, but I really did miss you guys. And I wanted to at least be able to sit down and talk to you guys before the holidays. Wish you all a happy holiday. And if it's not a holiday for you because of your beliefs, then I hope you have a beautiful day, like every day, right? You have a wonderful month, whatever it is. This is funny. This is a funny comment from the live chat. Road raging on the highway to absolution. Definitely. All of my sightings have made me much more open-minded, Andy says. Totally. But I do think there's people that haven't had sightings, right, Andy? And that are just in this topic because they're fascinated by it and they want to learn about it or they believe in it. But if you believe in this, it's like you might as well believe in everything else. I mean, not everything else. I'm saying you might as well be open to the possibility that anything can really be possible. That's what I'm saying. That what I said earlier was wrong. If you believe in this, don't believe in everything else. Just be open to the possibility that anything can be real. Obviously don't fall into fancy. Don't believe things that aren't. But just know that the world is much more amazing than we think it is, and the reality is too. Just to dig, to run this home and to make a point, I think I might actually take this down instead of leaving it up on the channel, and just so like that this was really to sit down and talk to you guys. I don't know. It's just everything. I feel like I'm, that dog in that meme where like the office is on fire and he's sitting there and he's like, everything's fine. I feel like that dog right now. Andy says, right, until we get the truth, all theories are valid. 100%. I agree with that. I don't think anybody has the truth. At least at this point, we haven't heard it yet. And if somebody does, they're not telling us for some reason. And that's where we're at. We're still kind of in that position. UFOs are real. Nobody's saying they're extraterrestrial. Everyone's afraid to say that. Nobody's really linking it to the abduction phenomenon, to people seeing the occupants out of the craft. Everyone is just talking about craft. And if this discussion is going to continue in this way, I'm telling you guys, we could see an HD video come from the government of something that looks like a UFO, and they're still going to be like, oh, but it could be Russia, it could be China. So let's open up our minds a bit. Let's get back to thinking about the real phenomenon, everything. I don't know. So I think I'm going to end this here, guys. Thank you for joining me. Again, I'm sorry for all the kinks. It's like the live is just like shooting sparks out of it. But remember, use this topic as a way to see the world with a more open lens, kind of from an open view. With an open mind is what I'm trying to say. Use it to realize that some of the things humans fight about are kind of petty. That's what I do. And the conversation, everything that's happening right now, I'm all for it. Like I said a million times, I don't know how else to say this. I always feel like you got to be careful. People might take it the wrong way and think that you're not. I am. And I hope it continues. We're just going to have to wait and see, and we're going to have to roll with the punches to see what really ends up happening with this discussion and where it goes. And if things get turned into weapons or not, whatever is going to happen, we just have to roll with the punches. And just remember that humans don't always do the right things. Humans make mistakes. Yeah. So, like I said, guys, have a happy holidays. If you're not celebrating anything, have a happy month, have a happy year. The new year's right around the corner. So I hope everyone starts 2022 off with a bang. If you're listening to this as a replay, I think I said I was going to take this down, but I'll just leave it. It's fine. As a replay, I hope you also have a, happy new year. Everyone here on the channel that's part of this community, I hope you have a happy new year. And we start off 2022 full of energy, ready to keep pushing, ready to keep searching for the truth, because really we can never stop searching for the truth. So we'll talk soon, guys.